And I finally opened this box and I'm like, there's my cheese grater. I've been looking for that for months. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
it got tossed in the box with like extra linens or something. Just ended up somewhere weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as packing,
Start early.
Start early. Label your stuff.
Hey there. Welcome to Parties to Playdates. I'm Kendall.
And I'm Jess. We're here to fill your day with warmth and laughter.
Join us as we navigate the chaos and joy of everyday life.
We're all about sharing real-life moments with a dash of humor and practical tips.
So grab your coffee and settle in for a cozy chat.
Because here, every moment is a story worth sharing.
No topic is off limit.
And every listener is a friend.
Let's get this party started. Welcome back. Hello, hello.
Hello, Kendall.
I hope there's no chia seeds in my teeth now that I'm smiling.
I can't see them at all.
Okay, because my smoothie has chia seeds, so I'm like,
oh, they're dangerous. They get up in there a little too good sometimes.
and they don't leave because they're like gummy little things.
Yeah, they really are. They're like little poppy seeds with glue on the outside.
Mm-hmm. This is exactly what they are. So, it's a beautiful day today.
It's gorgeous.
The rain came and it's gone now.
I know. It's like 70-something degrees, I bet.
It's perfect.
Sunshiny.
Yeah.
Light breeze. Not much humidity, which is always a benefit around here.
I know, because it's creeping up on us, man.
Yeah, it is. I'm just waiting any day for it to just drop.
So, what did they say or do this week?
Well, I got to thinking, I actually had a funny story from Italy. We had gone on a volcano tour. It was promoted as like a Jeep tour to the craters of Mount Etna. And I was like, oh, this sounds great. Let's go check it out. And so we show up and they're not actual Jeeps. They're like 4x4 minivans. And they stuffed...
Minivans?
Minivans. They stuffed me and Andrew and 6 other adults in the minivan. Me and Andrew were in the front seat next to the driver.
Thank God. Could you imagine being in the back?
And at first when we got in, I was with another lady up front. We were very close. And then she seemed very uncomfortable with the situation. And she ended up trading with Andrew, who had sat in the back. They were all like, I'm going to say late 60s, early 70s. But I felt bad because they took us on this 4-wheel drive road that was bumpy, steep, holes, rocks.
No.
They were getting literally centimeters from the trees. And we would start to go like down into an area and you'd hear the whole back of the van be like, we're going to go down there. Like they were all freaking out. And the driver was this super sweet, young, like probably 28-year-old.
Just living his best life. Just
no, it was a girl.
Oh, gosh.
This tiny little girl. She kind of looked like Keira Knightley.
Oh, my God, how cute.
Yeah, she was so cute. And so she's telling us, she's like explaining things about the volcano as she's like driving. She kept stalling coming out of first gear. So she kept having to restart it. And it was...
Oh, my gosh.
And it was so funny because she kept stalling out at first gear. She would just have to send it whenever.
That's so good.
She
So you're
was
just like,
trying to get up off of, we're going really slow, bump, bump, bump. But then she would have to start to go up a hill and she would just send it. And we just like it was. And I just kept squeezing Andrew's leg and giggling because honestly, there were a few times that I'm like, this bitch is rolling.
I was gonna
like,
say, do you feel safe?
We're gonna roll. But then at the same time, I'm like, we're going like 15 miles an hour and we're literally packed in tight.
Just bounce off of each other.
We're just gonna get a few bumps and bruises. Like nobody's breaking anything. It'll be a great story.
The 70-year-olds may.
The 7-year-olds may. They were pretty hardy though. I'm gonna give them props. They were hiking hard. They were serious. So anyways, it was really funny.
That's hilarious. You guys are like little marbles on the...
Oh my gosh, it was so good. I'm like, I haven't rode on a road like this in so long.
And I just think of your old minivan. That's literally what I'm picturing.
It basically was, but like smaller almost. Like it was like the European minivan and it was so tiny. They were leg to leg. Like they were tight. They were smashed in there.
Oh my God.
It was crazy. I'm like, why? I feel like we could have maybe not booked so many people. But anyways, it was a great time.
I totally understand her issue coming out of first gear installing. I had a few manual cars, and I lived up literally like the craziest steep, like swerving, curvy hill in Hawaii. And I've never driven a stick before.
Oh,
I guess this could be my story. This is years ago. And I needed a new car. I really wanted a truck, but I couldn't find one. My boyfriend at the time was just like, let's just get this like small little Corolla. It's like 94 Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it's manual. And I'm like, I don't know how to drive stick. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, it's $500. We can just learn. It'll be super easy. Something you should know how to do. And I'm like, okay. So we go to this guy's house. Mind you, he's straight from Brazil, like Brazilian, can barely speak English. And he's like, yeah, like, this is the car, $500. He has a complete accent. Obviously, I don't even know how to do it. And my boyfriend was like, can you teach her how to drive stick? And he's like, yeah, you don't know how, you're going to get the car? You don't? And I'm like, nope.
he's like, you want to think about this a little bit more?
Nope. Have no idea what I'm doing. He's like, okay. So we get in the car. I'm not kidding you, is like, buckle up. We're like, okay. And he goes, and I'm like, our heads are like at the back of the seat, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So you have to like listen. He's like trying to teach me. And I'm like, I have no idea what he just said. And we bought the car, and my boyfriend's like, follow me back to the restaurant, because we used to work at this bar together. And he was like, well, I'll just teach you in the parking lot. I'm like, okay. I couldn't even get literally to the parking lot. And then the funniest part is he's like, just stay in first, or maybe if you can get to second, if you can figure out how to get there. It was like not even a mile, and it was just like a 15-mile-per-hour road. So it was like a slow one. So he's like, just get there. Try not to buck or get it out of first or kill it. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm sitting there. There's 2 pedals, and I'm like, oh my God, you drive with your left foot? And I have to have one on this and one here. I'm like, I'm so confused. It was so nerve-wracking. Barely got to the restaurant, and then turning into the parking lot, fully was like bucking and killing it. And then there was a line, because it's a popular like area to get into. And I'm like trying to restart it, and then I don't know how to start it with the clutch in.
Oh,
and I just keep killing it. People are honking, and I'm like,
my
sorry,
gosh,
I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, where is he when I need him?
I like how your boyfriend was like, yeah, just follow me. Like,
no biggie.
How about I drive your car, babe, and you can follow me and figure this out?
No biggie. Yeah. And then he finally walked out. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I cannot get this thing started.
You're like, nothing. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the point.
He's like, people are behind you. I'm like, hence why I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, get out. But it was hysterical. He taught me up and down and up and down and up and down. He's like, let's just keep practicing a little bit more. We literally were like going up and down the driveway like 50 times. And everyone was just like, what are you guys doing? And then he's like, all right, now, because I lived in Pupukea, which is that huge, hilly mountain city or town. And I was so scared. I literally just floored it. I was like, I hope nobody's in front of me, and I hope I don't ever have to stop, because if I stop on a hill, I was like, this is ridiculous.
Stopping on a hill with a manual is scary.
It's so scary. And I'm telling you, this thing is steep.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I was like, I just got to floor it. And then going down, I was like, neutral.
Saving all the gas.
And now I'm like a pro. I mean, I haven't driven a stick in a long time, but I mean, it's like second nature.
I feel like once you've done it, you're good to go.
Yeah. But I was like on my phone, doing everything. I could do it all now, like drinking, doing whatever. Yeah, it's so good. But
I love that.
Yeah, that was fun. Good old times. I love a good stick car.
Yeah, you could tell I told Andrew, I was like, I feel like the van was kind of old and giving her problems. He's like, no, she just didn't know what she was doing. I was really trying to give her the benefit of the doubt and be like, oh, it's just an old van. No, he's like, absolutely not. He's like, she just sucked at driving a stick. I was like, okay, but it was really entertaining.
Yeah, I bet it was. And you're right there. You could see it.
Her hand was just on my thigh, just shifting the whole time, because there was nowhere else for me to go. When she had to take it off the emergency brake, I had to raise up for her to get under there, because I was literally like...
She's like, ma'am, can you move your left cheek?
She was like, sorry, I'm going to have to get in here real quick. Just a minute. I was like, do your thing, girl.
That is awesome. All right. So today we're going to talk about moving and moving tips and tricks. Yay. Well, we've all done it. I just did it. Hence why new area. And yeah, just had the great idea. We should talk about like tips and tricks, and you guys have moved a lot as well. So
we have moved quite a bit, and we've done some multiple cross-country moves.
Ooh, yeah. Those are like, I think people don't want to move cross-country, where they probably want to be because of the moving aspect of it.
Yeah, even now where we live, Andrew's like, oh, let's buy a different house. I'd like a house with this and that. And I'm like, no, I will stay in terrible conditions. We have a nice house. We're not in terrible conditions.
We'll be in
but
squalor
I'm saying
conditions.
if we were in terrible conditions and somebody was like, you can move or you can stay here and it's going to be the same price, I'll be like, nah, I'll stay because moving is exhausting to me and is one of my least favorite things to do. So
really though, I agree. I have moved so many times. It's stupid. Granted, I lived in my parents' house from when I was pretty much born till 19. They're still in that house. They've been in that house for 33 years almost. So I only started moving after I moved out of their house. And I feel like it's been nonstop ever since. Moved away for college and then moved every single year for college. I was there for 4 years. And then after that, I moved probably again like every year or 2 years. And then moved back to California to my parents' house. Then moved in with Ryan. And then moved to Florida. And then we've moved we lived in Destin. We lived in Santa Rosa Beach twice. Freeport twice. 5 times.
wow.
In the last 7 years.
That's crazy. That's a lot of moving. What type of mover are you? Are you the plan, organize, get rid of stuff as you go? Are you the label all the boxes of what's inside? Or you throw it in, pack it up, let's get out of here?
Honestly, I think I'm a little bit of all of it. Because way back in the day, I was a great mover because I didn't have much. I literally had those backpacking backpacks. I don't know how many liters they are.
Big ones.
They're huge. I lived out of that. That's all I owned.
That's impressive.
In my car and a skateboard. That's it. And then when I moved back to my parents' house, so it's super easy to move. I could put everything in my car and then just jam. And then when I moved back to my parents' house, I still really didn't have much because they still had everything I needed. I didn't need anything. And then when I moved into Ryan's, same thing. He had everything. When we moved to Florida, that's when things started to accumulate. And like we got things, I guess. Or he got stuff. And then we just now, oh my gosh, we have so much shit that I literally, and going through pregnancy, I started getting all these different styles of clothes. And then I put my skinny girl clothes away and brought out my maternity big girl clothes. And then now I'm like this in between. I have so many clothes. It's so stupid. So this last move I went through all of my clothes from storage and then got rid of 3 huge trash bags plus 2 huge boxes of clothes. I actually took them to Path of Grace this time.
Oh, nice.
Because it's like a female addiction donation store or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did that. And now I'm like, okay, I feel good about the clothes. Now it's like the knickknacks and the other things. So I did start going through stuff like that. We've sold a bunch this move. We've given away a bunch this move. But yeah, when we would pack boxes, I'm more of writing on the outside what's in this box because I need to know where it's going when we get into the new house. And then when I'm unboxing it, if I'm looking for something specific, I'm going to go to that box and find it. Maybe a little bit of all of them. A little bit of both. Yeah, I don't know. What about you?
I start off with really good intentions.
We never end where we start.
I start off with good intentions where I'm like writing everything on the box. I'm making sure the same rooms are staying in the same boxes and all of that. But I feel like the closer you get to the end of moving, you're just like, where do we put this? Do we even have a box that fits this? Oh, I have 3 items left for this room, but I have a ginormous box that's going to hold a whole other room. So I feel like that's one of the biggest things with moving that I feel like I haven't mastered is just keeping everything organized and contained to the right places so that when you get somewhere, stuff actually ends up where it needs to be. Because the amount of times we've moved and boxes have just sat in a garage or a room and then 3 months in, I'm still unpacking and I finally open this box and I'm like, there's my cheese grater. I've been looking for that for months. You know what I mean? And it got tossed in the box with like extra linens or something. Just ended up somewhere weird. Yeah. I don't know. As far as packing,
Start early.
Start early. Label your stuff. And I feel like that you always want to get big boxes so you can get as much stuff in them. But I honestly prefer small to medium sized boxes because I feel like you can consolidate them and you can fit just what you need in them and then save the bigger boxes for the oversized stuff because the small boxes are so much easier. And then when you go to unpack, it feels like way less of a chore to just have 10 items to unpack instead of like 40 items to unpack. So then you just be like, I'm going to do 1 box today or I'm going to do 2 boxes today. And it feels manageable and you can trick yourself into doing.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. We had to pack within 2 weeks or 3 weeks before we actually had to move out. It was quick. And we had trouble finding boxes the first week.
Yeah.
I told my job they were collecting boxes for me, which was fantastic. But when I got the boxes, I love them, but they were huge.
Yeah.
Boxes for the sleeves of cups that are 3 feet, 4 feet long. And then I'm like, well, what am I going to put in there? And Ryan's like, these boxes are kind of funky. Some of them are like this high and shallow. At least we have them. Like, let's just good clothes boxes, I guess. Just like whatever you can squeeze in there. Ryan ended up driving past the outlets and he's like, they have to have boxes. So he drove behind and literally he scored at, I think, the Skechers, and I can't remember which other one, but the boxes were perfect medium-sized boxes where he's like, Kendall, these are absolutely so perfect. Scratch your works boxes. Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
And they were absolutely perfect. And granted, I guess I am just like a throw in the box kind of thing and be like, that looks good. Sometimes the lid doesn't fit all the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, yeah, there's still this much you can pack in. Ryan hates it. So he was trying to tell me, he's like, Ken, you cannot overpack it because I have to stack things.
Yeah.
And he's like, what if it's breakable? Or what if it goes through the other box and then now that box bottom is broken and all that?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, whatever. So I tried to fix the boxes and then he's like, Ken, you can't fill them because when you stack them, then the box
they collapse.
I'm like, oh my gosh, who would have known all this? I don't know. So yes, I learned how to pack a box.
There you go. I know one of the things that I used to do, because for long distance moves, we've done it where you hire somebody to drive all of the majority of your stuff from point A to point B, because it's a 3-day drive. And we've done it with the U-Haul before, and it's no fun and it's exhausting because you have to drive the U-Haul, and then if you have multiple vehicles, you have to tow one, and then you have to drive another one and put all the kids somewhere, and then all the stuff, and you have to stop at hotels and find places to park, and it's exhausting. So I highly recommend, which you can find some pretty affordable moving where they don't do anything. They drive up, you load all the stuff in, and they give you a certain amount of space, and then they put up these little barriers, lock it in, and then roll out with your stuff. And you can spend just a reasonable amount of money. And we've also had cars shipped like that where a big 18-wheeler will pull up and they drive your car right into it. And for $600-800, they'll drive your car all the way across the country, and it's contained.
We actually did that from California to Florida.
Yeah.
I think it was like maybe not even $3,000, but it was so worth it. And they pulled up. We had everything ready to go.
Yeah.
They brought those moving blankets and things to wrap stuff up with and movers, and they just put it in. They loaded it up. We cleaned the house. We just had my car and Maggie and a few other things, and it was so nice because that's all we had to worry about.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we'll be here. We'll pick it up. Literally, I think it was like May 4th or 5th that year. We're going to take a whole week to drive over there. So we got there. When they got there, literally it was perfect timing, and then boom.
Yeah, it's
great.
really nice. One other thing I used to always do too is whenever I would pack, a lot of those trucks, they charge you by the weight. And so I was always trying to figure out ways to not add extra weight to the packing. So whenever I would pack dishes or fragile things, I would use all of my towels, sheets, pillowcases, all of that would all get used as packing material for all the dainty, fragile stuff, which makes it really weird when you're unpacking.
We use socks.
Because you have all your dishes mixed in with like towels and sheets and pillowcases and all sorts of stuff. But it saved us money because it was like less packing material that was mixed in with everything.
Oh, for sure. I will say this time around, the last 2 times we moved were like game changers. We rented the biggest U-Haul we could, and we had everything packed in boxes and ready to go. And then I got guys from my job.
Yeah.
And paid them like $150, and they're like, heck yeah, for a few hours of just moving boxes and then delivering them. And I also give them lunch and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's been the best. Literally, if you can find people who are willing to move for $100 or something, it is absolutely the best idea possible.
Me and Andrew have done that. Even moving to cities that we didn't know a lot of people in, we would put a ad on Facebook Marketplace or on Craigslist and say, looking for movers, we'll pay you this much. Pizza and beer provided at the end. And so random strangers would show up, and we would just make sure we were supervising so people didn't steal stuff. And honestly, it's really great because it saves your back.
It does.
It saves your back so hard on getting everything out, and it's so much faster.
It is.
Another thing that was a game changer, especially when we moved from Virginia to here, Andrew was already here working. So me and the kids pretty much packed up this entire truck that was coming down. And so it's just me and the kids, but we're having to haul furniture and things like that. And we didn't ask, I don't know why we didn't ask anybody to help us there because we knew people, but we bought these carrying straps off of Amazon. They were these 6-inch wide straps that kind of made an X on your back. And then they came to the front and they had a D-ring to this wide strap hooked through. And you would each put on, 2 people would each put on one of the harnesses. You'd strap the strap through and put it under whatever item you're carrying, and then you would squat down, tighten it up, and then just stand up. So it was all in your legs. It wasn't
so smart.
back. Me and one of my friend's husbands carried a refrigerator out of the house.
Yes.
Also, my kids, just 2 of my kids were carrying couches, dressers, all sorts of stuff with this carrying strap. It was a game changer because then you can just focus on keeping it upright, getting it around corners, and it's way easier to navigate with that.
Huge. That's huge, actually, because there's so many things that I'm incapable of lifting, even if I try to help with Ryan.
Yeah.
Because, first off, my arms are like, there's not much to them.
I feel like holding stuff, grip strength is so pivotal in moving furniture because you're
using your fingertips.
It doesn't have handles. It's just not made to be picked up. And so it's really awkward and strange. I think those are the only times that me and Andrew have gotten so mean with each other is moving furniture. Like if anything is going to get us divorced, it's going to be moving furniture because he'll always be like, no, do it like this. No, turn the angle. And I'm not understanding. And my hands are like, I can't do it. And I'll be like, I need to take a break. And he'll be like, suck it up. And I'm like, but I'm going to drop it. You know what I mean?
I'm either going to hurt the piece of furniture or myself.
So listen, hire the randoms off of Craigslist because they will save your marriage.
They totally will. And it's so much nicer to be like, oh, I'll carry the pillows. I'll carry the blankets. Oh, I'll carry the strollers. But that box goes there. This box goes there. And they do it. And it's great. So you never have to rearrange the boxes again. You just got to undo them.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And I will say this time was also extra hard because kids, I only have 1. So I don't know how you did it with 4 moving by yourself because hire yourself a babysitter or put them in a daycare or something for the day while you're moving because it is so hard.
Yeah.
And especially an almost 2-year-old who's running around with doors open and boxes everywhere. And you have to, I don't know, it's just, they have to be watched.
Yeah.
I'm useless. If I'm watching them, I'm no help to moving.
Yeah. Well, because your mind is like, oh, where are they at? What are they doing? Oh, what's for lunch? Have they eaten?
Yeah, totally. And he's kind of clingy. So he's like always by my feet, screaming at me to hold him. And like, how am I going to do anything if I'm holding you? Which I love. But, you know.
Yeah, it's tricky.
So babysitters for sure for the win. And yeah, just do it.
Label your boxes. Buy the carrying straps, hire some people off of Craigslist. I guarantee you, doesn't matter what your budget is. If you have $20, $30,
I'm sure somebody will show up.
100% people will show up. Also, we had some people that moved into our neighborhood and they put a thing out on our neighborhood page that was like, does anybody have a strong teenage son?
Oh yeah, totally.
That wants to make $40. You know what I mean? Ask your neighbors if they have kids because listen, if you ask Andrew to help you move, he's saying no.
100%.
And he'll say, put an ad on Facebook.
But my sons will help you.
He's like, my moving days are done. My younger boys don't have jobs. And so they're always down to make a buck. And I sent my son over to help the neighbor. He needs help moving boxes. And he got lunch. He got free stuff. He came back with more than just cash.
That's true, too. We're giving stuff away. They're like, oh, we really like these chairs. I'm like, do you want them? Take them. I don't even need them. And they're like, heck yeah. So, yeah, totally. You can give away a few things or get some things.
You can get rid of stuff. You can get stuff packed. So, yeah, that would be my top tips.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm the kind of person also that's, if you're questionable about bringing it, I'm like, just get rid of it. We'll get a new one, you know?
Oh my, that's so Andrew.
I know, totally. You're so right, because he rolled his eyes at me
because this is the thing. I'm not opposed to getting rid of stuff that we aren't using. But when you're like, let's get rid of it, even though we use it just because it's taking up space. Like the amount of like lawnmowers and yard equipment that he's been like, just get rid of it. We'll buy new ones. And then like $800 later, we had to buy all new stuff. And I'm like, we could have kept that one we had that worked fine. That we were too lazy to pack because it was at the end and the shed always goes last for some reason. And none of that stuff goes in boxes and you're just throwing it in willy-nilly. And so you're so Andrew.
I am. And I have no shame about it.
There's things that we only use seasonally.
Yes.
That he'll be like, you can buy more Christmas lights. You can buy more Christmas decorations. I'm like, this stuff isn't cheap. I know we only use it once a year, but I've spent years collecting this stuff. And I regularly get rid of stuff that doesn't work, stuff that's broken, stuff that I'm not using anymore. I get rid of that stuff every year when I'm decorating.
I was totally getting at that too, because if our garage is very full of junk, just so much shit, I guess, that we slightly use. But you're right. If we got rid of our seasonal decor, which is literally all that's in there pretty much, there would be a third of that area totally open.
Yeah.
We only need to keep the essentials.
Yeah.
I feel like we buy lights every year because lights either go out or something happens or I don't know. Why do we have 3 bags of Christmas stuffed animals?
Yeah.
Let's find it a new home.
For real.
But yeah, oh my gosh, thank God for a garage. Thank God for a garage.
Yeah, garages are game changers for sure.
We didn't have it at our last house, but we had an amazing attic. I prefer an attic over a garage, in my opinion, only because you don't really see all the stuff that's up there. When I open the garage, I'm like, look at all this.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
It is so overwhelming.
For sure. Well, what have you been cooking this week?
A lot of Mexican food.
Ooh,
I know.
Nice.
I talked about my tofu and beans last week. This week, we actually did beans. We did full-blown Mexican. It was so good. Spanish, I think it was called Spanish rice, which to me, I don't know the difference between Spanish and Mexican rice because there are differences.
I don't really know.
I don't either.
I've never really thought about that.
But it was a pack you make from the store,
Yeah.
It was very easy and it was very delicious. And then I did bell peppers, onion, mushrooms, garlic, and yellow squash with Mexican seasonings and stuff, and a little bit of water. And it was so good. And we were cracking up about it last night because we put it all on tortillas with lettuce and salsa and avocado and all that stuff. And our tortillas weren't the big burrito tortillas, and they're not taco tortillas. They're that mid-sized one, We both put everything we wanted, and we both looked at it and we're like, how are we going to roll this puppy? And Ryan
You're not.
You're not. And Ryan and I are trying. He's like, oh, my shit's ripping. And I'm like, well, give me another one. I was like, let's just split them in half, make 2 small regular burritos.
Yeah.
And he gives me another one, and I split it in half, and then he splits his, and his were these perfectly rolled burritos. And he was already putting them back on the pan to get them a little crispy. And he goes, oh my God, what are you doing? I was like, I literally just split it in half, and then I added more to each.
Oh my gosh. Totally defeating the whole purpose.
Goes, why did you do that? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not thinking straight, but man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So mine were these fat nuggets of just, but they were so good. And the 2 salsas we used, that avocado salsa, the green verde one that's spicy, plus a spicy hot picante one. Holy moly, my mouth was on fire, but it was so good. So lots of Mexican. And then we're also going to Mexican today for Cinco de Drinko.
De Mayo. Yum.
Yeah.
I love Mexican food. I honestly, when I'm like, oh, what should we cook? I'm always like, I could do gelatos or tacos.
Yeah.
Or always Mexican sounds good.
Yeah, and there's so many things you can do. You can do salads, you can do tacos, you can do burritos, you can do fried things, baked stuff, whatever.
So good.
It's so simple. Yeah, it's been really good. What about you?
Last night, Andrew's like, oh, what are we going to do for dinner? And thankfully, I had remembered that my sister told me while she was here, she had made my kids a roast with potatoes and carrots and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they ate some of it, but then they just weren't eating the leftovers at all. So she threw it in a zippy bag and put it in the freezer. Ooh. So I had a fully cooked, delicious roast that we just pulled out. My oldest baked a potato and put cheese and sour cream and then threw the meat on top of that. Andrew heated up some corn and added some corn to his. I heated up some leftover mashed potatoes, stole some of Andrew's corn, and did the meat. So I made reheated, leftover, pre-cooked roast.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
I'm sure it was.
It was so good. It was I'm like, I need to do this more often where I just make meals that taste delicious and reheat well and then throw them in the freezer for the days that I don't want to take the time to do stuff because literally my oldest just heated it up for me. I didn't even heat it up myself. I just took it out of the freezer.
Look at you go, girl.
And then I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to heat it up. She's like, you just have to heat it up. And I was like, I know.
I could see her saying it just like that too.
I was like, I know, but I just don't feel like doing it. I was like, do you want to do it? And she was like, yeah, I can heat it up. And then I felt really dumb after because it literally took her like 5 minutes. And I was like, I'm so lazy. But I was just in a mood to not do anything yesterday. I was like, I don't want to cook anything. And I'd already cooked breakfast. I made hash browns. And then we used this leftover steak. This was really good, actually. We had leftover steak that I just chopped up. I made shredded hash browns. And then I went to grab the eggs so we could do steak and eggs on the hash browns. And we had 2 eggs left. And so I told Andrew, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to run to the store. I only have 2 eggs. He's like, the kids don't need eggs. We can eat the eggs. You get one, I get one. Blaze doesn't care about eggs. Nobody else is going to eat eggs. My girls don't really care about eggs. And so I was like, oh, but should I make some gravy? And he was like, yes. So we did hash browns with the leftover steak and egg and sausage gravy on top.
Yum.
And my youngest didn't even get an egg. His just had gravy and steak and hash browns. And he smashed his plate so fast that I was only halfway done with my food when he was finished. And he went in the kitchen, was looking around, and I was like, hey, there's more in there. He's like, there's more steak? And I was like, yes. So he had the second helping of steak with the gravy. And he was like, Mom, he's like, this is really good. But steak is his favorite. But
what kind of steak? Was it just like regular?
It was like a New York strip that we had eaten, like we had made at the beginning of the week. That was just sitting in the fridge.
Oh my God, how funny is that?
And so I was like, we're eating this steak because it's delicious. But I was like, man, we need to do steak and hash browns more often with the gravy because it was delicious. It was so good.
Yeah.
So
I always try to get Ryan because he'll get these things from Aldi. It's a 2-pack of fillets with bacon wrapped around them. And they're cheap and they're great. And they're just like little fillets. They're probably like 6 ounces. They're tiny. But he'll make both of them. He'll put them in the air fryer and make both of them. One for dinner. And I'm like, literally save the next one for steak and eggs the next day. You'll be so happy with bacon on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That sounds so good.
So, yep. So, yeah, that's what I've been cooking.
Lovely.
So, yeah, you guys let us know, what are some of your moving tips? What saved your day? Because, I don't know. Is there a way to make it easier?
I don't want to move again. I know we are at some point, obviously, but I really don't want to move again.
Yeah.
I feel like the stress of it just went away. Mind you, we still have boxes.
Honestly, I'm going to say, I walked in their house the other day and they don't have a ton of boxes sitting around, which when I move, there's boxes in my house, I feel like for months. Like they become part of the furniture and they're just all over the place because I feel like it takes me a long time to decide where everything needs to go.
Yeah, us too. But at the same time, this is another tip, I guess. While Ryan was still moving and cleaning the other house, I was at this house unpacking at the same time. So like when he got home, it wasn't like, hey, you need to unpack. It's more like, why don't you relax? I already started unpacking everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There was one move we did where we put a specific like mark or star or something on certain boxes that were like essential, unpack immediately. You're going to want these items. So it wasn't the whole entire kitchen, but it was like 5 boxes from the kitchen. So you knew that these were the ones that had the stuff that you used all the time and that you would want to have like immediately. And we would do that for all of our rooms or whatever. Also, do you take your clothes off hangers when you do you just fold them in and
we just pull them right off and then folded them in the box with the hangers
do the
on
same
top.
Thing.
Yeah, we said
and you
screw
can get one time we got like wardrobe boxes that have a little metal thing across that you can hang them all up and you can fit a ton of stuff in there. They get heavy, but if you have the space for the size of box they are, those were really convenient.
Those are the boxes I like to unbox. Because
it's like,
hey, because I'm like, oh, let me do a box a day, which I do not do. But that's what my mindset is. I would do those boxes every day.
I love it. I got the wardrobe box.
Yeah. You can do the knickknacks, the toiletries.
Yeah, for real.
Good luck with that one.
Jeez.
No, that's the one thing. So our boxes, there's still boxes underneath our sinks.
Yeah.
They're not going to be unboxed. They're just going to live there.
But at least they're put away.
They are put away and you can't see them unless someone just rummages through your bathroom.
That's perfect. I love it. Well, you guys have a great week.
Yes,
hopefully you're not moving or packing.
Yes. Holler at us if you have any other great tips.
Yeah, but if you are, good luck.
Yes. May the 4th, which was yesterday, be with you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. And that, party people, wraps up another delightful episode of Parties to Playdates.
We hope you're leaving with a smile, a story, and maybe a tip or two.
Remember, life's journey is better shared with a friend.
And we're so grateful to be part of yours.
If you enjoyed today's chat, don't forget to rate and subscribe to our show.
Your support keeps our community growing and our stories flowing. We want to hear from you. Please send us your thoughts, ideas, and questions to partiestoplaydates@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Parties to Playdates.
Until next time, keep embracing the chaos and finding the joy.
Take care and stay connected, party people.
Bye for now, and don't forget to laugh a little extra today.
Bye.